You caught your reflection in a store window and looked away fast. Not because you looked bad. Because you look tired. Older than you feel. And it's not your skin. It's not your makeup. It's your haircut quietly aging you 4 to 6 years every single time you walk out the door. Today I'm showing you 7 haircuts that do the opposite. Cuts that lift, soften, and make 60 look rich, expensive, and effortlessly elegant. One of these is about to become the most requested photo on your stylist's phone. I researched the best style and beauty fixes for women over 50, so you get real results, fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every week. Part 1, the soft layered bob. You've probably had some version of the same haircut for 15 years. Not because you're lazy about it. Because it felt safe. But safe after 60 can quietly read as stuck. Flat ends, blunt all the way around, no movement near the face. It pulls everything down and adds weight exactly where you don't want it. Here's the part nobody explains at the salon. A blunt, one-length cut sits heavy against the jaw. And heavy at the jaw drags the whole face down with it. It's not your skin doing that. It's the haircut. So what actually fixes it? A soft layered bob. And I mean specifically layers that start at the cheekbone, not the chin. Tell your stylist this exact phrase. I want face framing layers starting at the cheekbone, with the ends point cut, not blunt. Point cutting removes the heavy line at the bottom, and lets the hair fall softly instead of sitting like a shelf. Second fix, ask for internal layering through the crown. This builds quiet volume up top, which lifts the whole face instead of letting it sag toward a flat silhouette. Third, a slight undercut at the nape, barely there, just enough that the back doesn't bulk up when the front gets lighter. Most women skip this one and end up with a bob that looks heavier in back than front. That imbalance is what makes a good haircut still photograph wrong. And here's the secret most stylists won't volunteer unless you ask. A bob cut wet looks completely different than a bob cut dry. Ask for a dry cut check at the end, where they touch up the shape after it's styled. That's the difference between a bob that looks salon fresh for one day, and one that holds its shape for 6 weeks. Before and after, in plain terms, blunt one-length cut to chin becomes face framing layers from the cheekbone. Flat crown becomes internal layering with real lift. Heavy back becomes a barely there undercut at the nape that keeps everything balanced. Upkeep is simple. A trim every 6 to 8 weeks to keep the point cut ends from growing back into that heavy line you just got rid of. You'd think a softer cut would be the gentlest change on this list. It's actually the one that catches people off guard the most, because the next cut works almost the opposite way, and once you see why, you'll understand exactly which one your face has been waiting for. Part 2, the rounded lob and the curtain bang shag. Some of you are sitting there thinking, mine isn't blunt, it's actually a bit longer. Good. That's exactly where the next 2 cuts live. First up, the rounded lob. This is for the woman whose hair has crept past the shoulder over the years without anyone deciding that on purpose. Long hair past a certain length starts pulling itself straight down with its own weight, and gravity at 60 is not your friend. It thins the appearance of your whole head and drags the eye downward instead of out toward your cheekbones, where you actually want it. The fix is the rounded lob, collarbone length, with a slightly rounded perimeter instead of a straight across cut. Tell your stylist, I want a rounded lob that hits right at the collarbone, with the perimeter curved, not straight. That curve is what keeps it from reading as a short and long cut, and instead reads as an intentional, polished shape. Pair that with a few face framing pieces left slightly longer at the front. This is what actually does the lifting. Without them, a lob can look flat from the front even when it's beautifully cut in back. Now, the second haircut in this part, and it solves a completely different problem. The curtain bang shag. This one's for you if your hairline has started creeping back slightly, or your forehead just feels more exposed than it used to. Most women try to hide this with a heavy, full fringe, and it backfires every time. A thick blunt bang at 60 can look severe and actually age the face by hardening it. Curtain bangs split down the center and sweep to either side, blended into longer layers around the face. Say this exact phrase. I want curtain bangs that part in the center and blend into face framing layers, not a blunt fringe. The softness around the temple is what does the actual age softening, not the bang's length, the blend. Here's what changes everything about this combination. The shag underneath isn't just texture for texture's sake. Ask specifically for shag layering through the mid-lengths with a razor, not scissors. A razor cut leaves softer, wispier ends that move instead of sitting stiff. And that movement is what makes curtain bangs look effortless instead of styled within an inch of their life. To sum up the swaps, long, weighed-down hair becomes a rounded lob at the collarbone with curved perimeter. Flat front becomes face-framing pieces left longer. Heavy blunt fringe becomes center-parted curtain bangs blended into shag layers cut with a razor. Upkeep on both. A trim every 5 to 6 weeks, since shorter face-framing pieces and bangs grow out of shape faster than the rest of the cut. What's coming next is longer, and at first glance you'd think longer hair couldn't possibly work in your favor after 60. You're about to find out exactly why that assumption is wrong. Part 3. The long layered shag. Everyone tells you to cut it short after 60. I'm going to disagree with that, carefully. Long hair isn't the problem. Long hair with no layering is the problem. There's a real difference, and almost nobody explains it clearly. When hair past the shoulder has zero internal layering, it loses density visually, thin ends, no movement, a flat sheet of hair that actually reads as less hair than you have. It's the single biggest reason women over 60 get told to just cut it all off, when the real fix was never length at all. So here's what you actually ask for, word for word. I want a long layered shag with heavy layering through the crown and face framing pieces starting at the chin. That crown layering is non-negotiable. It's what rebuilds the appearance of density that flat long hair loses. Second fix, and this one surprises people. Ask for shattered ends, not feathered or blended ends. Shattered ends are cut at irregular, varied lengths on purpose. It sounds like it would look messy. It does the opposite. It gives long hair the kind of texture that catches light instead of hanging dull and flat. Third, face framing layers starting right at the chin, angled slightly longer toward the front. This is the piece that does the actual youthful lift around your features, the same way it works on the bob, just adapted for length. And here's the secret almost nobody over 60 hears from their stylist. Long hair needs a root lift blowout technique, not just product, to actually hold its shape day to day. Ask if they can show you a round brush lift at the crown before you leave the chair. Once you see it done, you can recreate it yourself in under 5 minutes each morning. The swaps, plainly. Flat unlayered length becomes heavy crown layering that rebuilds visual density. Blunt feathered ends become shattered ends cut at irregular lengths. No face framing becomes chin-length pieces angled forward. Upkeep tip. A light trim every 8 weeks just on the shattered ends, since that texture grows out softer than you'd expect and doesn't need the whole length touched. What I'm about to show you next is shorter than anything we've covered so far. And it might just be the boldest, most rejuvenating cut on this entire list. Part 4. The pixie bob and the textured crop. Short hair scares people. I get it. But the two cuts in this part are the ones that, done right, take 10 years off faster than anything else on this list. First, the pixie bob. This isn't a true pixie, and that distinction matters. A lot of women go in asking for short hair, and walk out with something cropped so close it reads as severe, almost masculine, when that was never the goal. The mistake isn't going short. It's going short without keeping enough length on top to soften the whole effect. The pixie bob keeps the sides and back short and tapered, but the top stays long enough to sweep, tousle, or push back. Tell your stylist exactly this. I want a pixie bob, short tapered sides, but at least 3 to 4 inches left on top for movement. That length on top is what keeps it feminine and soft instead of severe. Second fix inside this same cut. Ask for textured, not blunt, edges around the ear and neckline. Blunt edges on short hair look stiff. Textured edges, cut with thinning shears or a razor, soften the whole perimeter so it doesn't look like it was cut with a ruler. Now the second haircut here, the textured crop. This is for the woman who wants short, but wants it to look effortless and a little undone, not styled within an inch of its life. The common mistake with this length is going too uniform, every piece the same length, same direction, which can flatten and harden features instead of softening them. Honestly, that uniform look is the one thing I wish more women knew to avoid before they sat down in the chair. Ask for point cut texture throughout, with the crown left slightly longer for a tousled finish. Point cutting breaks up that uniform line. and the longer crown gives you something to actually style. Push it forward, tousle it, let it sit slightly off-center. Third fix for the crop specifically, request a slightly disconnected nape, meaning the very back is cut a touch shorter and separate from the rest. It sounds technical, but what it does is keep the whole shape from reading as one solid block of hair, which is the thing that ages a short cut fastest. Swaps for the pixie bob. Severely cropped all over becomes tapered sides with length kept on top. Blunt edges become textured, razor-softened edges. Swaps for the crop. Uniform length becomes point-cut texture with a longer crown. One solid block becomes a disconnected, slightly separated nape. Upkeep for both. A trim every 4 weeks. Shortcuts grow out of shape the fastest of anything on this list. And that's the one honest trade-off. But the lift you get is worth the extra salon visits. We've covered 6. One is left. And it might be the one that quietly works the hardest of all of them, because it's not about length or layering. It's about something almost nobody talks about, where your part actually sits. Part 5. Face framing layers with a side part. Quick question. When's the last time you actually questioned where your part sits? Most women have parted their hair the exact same way since their 20s and never once revisited it. And a center part, on its own, can be the quiet reason a perfectly good haircut still looks tired. It splits the face evenly down the middle and draws the eye straight down the nose instead of out toward your cheekbones and eyes, which is where you actually want attention to land. The fix here is deceptively simple, and it's the one most women skip because it feels too small to matter. A deep side part, with face framing layers cut specifically to fall along that new part line. Tell your stylist, I want a deep side part with layers cut to sweep diagonally across the forehead. That diagonal sweep is what creates instant asymmetry. And asymmetry is what makes a face look alive instead of static. Second fix, ask for graduated layers from the cheekbone down, angled toward the new part. Without recutting the layers to follow the new part line, hair that's used to falling center will keep fighting its way back there every time you style it. The part change only works if the cut underneath actually supports it. Third, and this is the one that surprises people most, a side part instantly slims the appearance of the face by breaking up symmetry, which is exactly what center parts can't do no matter how good the rest of the cut is. One small shift. No new haircut required if you're not ready for one. Though paired with face framing layers, it's transformative. Here's a quick, real example. I watched a woman in a salon chair last week. Stunning bone structure, beautifully set eyes, and she kept asking her stylist to just trim it. Same center part she'd had for decades. The stylist finally said, "Can I try something?" Swept it 3 inches to the side. She didn't recognize her own reflection for a second. That's the whole power of this fix. It costs you nothing extra at the chair, and it's the most dramatic change on this entire list. The swaps. Dead center part becomes a deep side part. Static, symmetrical layers become graduated layers angled toward the new part line. Flat forward falling hair becomes a diagonal sweep across the forehead. Upkeep tip. Ask your stylist to recut your part line at every trim, not just touch up the ends. Parts drift back to center over months without that small correction. You just learned the 7 haircuts most women spend years discovering by accident, one frustrating salon visit at a time. And you got all 7 in one sitting. Boom! Your bone structure was always this striking. Now your haircut finally agrees with it. Tell me in the comments, which of these 7 haircuts are you walking into your next salon appointment asking for? Next time, I'm breaking down the exact words to say to your colorist so you never leave with the wrong tone again. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.